Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Gold Derby. We are here to talk about all of our last final predictions for the drama races at the 2024 Emmy Awards. I'm Marcus James Dixon. I'm here with Ray Richmond, Daniel Montgomery, and Denton Davidson. And we just have a few weeks here before the Emmy nominations are actually announced on July 17th, I believe that is the day. And so I just made some changes to my predictions. I wonder if you guys have as well. We'll talk about all of that. Let's start with best drama series. I think we all probably have the same thing. So who wants to start? How about Ray? Let's start with you. Who are you predicting to win, or what are you predicting to win? And then what are your other 7 nominees?
I was going back and forth between Shogun and The Crown. Obviously The Crown was going to be the runaway favorite until Shogun decided to switch off from limited a few months back into drama, and then it became either the top choice or the runner-up. I'm picking Shogun. I feel like it's got the cachet and the buzz and the critical acclaim. Although The Crown always a big Emmy favorite, and you can never underestimate it. And it had a great year. So I'm still picking Shogun, but with The Crown a close second. And then I'm sort of running pretty much more or less in sync with our voters. I've got The Gilded Age, The Morning Show, The Curse, Slow Horses, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Fallout, rounding out my 8. And I'm going to play around with the order, but I'm probably going to stick pretty much with those. And I know there are a few other shows that I'm passing over, like Three Body Problem and Loki and Ahsoka. So, but and I could add one or more of those down the road, but for the moment, I'm sticking with those 8.
Yeah. And let's hope that the Emmys don't follow the Television Critics Association, because the TCA has said that Ripley, Baby Reindeer, Fargo were all drama series as well as limited series. So
Yeah, but what does that even mean?
I don't know. It was the
Yeah,
worst
that's a silly.
prediction
That's
ever.
they just maybe they were like, oh, we're not passionate enough about dramas this year, so let's just like double up. But like, no,
Make it up
whatever
as they
your
go
top
along.
5 is for drama, make those your
Yeah.
drama picks. Don't like carry over from limiteds.
It almost makes it seem like the voters just don't watch enough TV, which means they should not be voters. Okay, so Daniel,
Yeah.
do you have Shogun winning?
I have Shogun winning. I have Shogun doing quite well, so I'm going to be saying Shogun many times over the course of this slugfest. Um, Shogun and The Crown are my top 2, and honestly, those are the only 2 I feel safe about. Like literally anything else could be snubbed, and I wouldn't be surprised, or get in, and I wouldn't be surprised. After that, I've got The Morning Show, which I don't believe has ever gotten in, but in a year this open, I think it gets in. Then The Gilded Age, same, hasn't gotten in before, could get in this time. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Loki, Fallout, and Three Body Problem. I am not confident about my predictions in this category, but that's what I'm going with.
Denton.
Yeah, this is an insane category because you've got really 2 to 3 shows that I feel comfortable about, and then the rest, I mean, we don't know what they're watching, because this is completely wide open. I have Shogun number 1, but we don't know what they think of it yet. I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see how the nominations turn out. But we're sort of all assuming that they love it, but we don't really know. But we do know that they've loved The Crown before. So, I mean, The Crown could win for its final season. And it's had surprises before, especially in acting races. So I really do think those are the shows to watch out for. I've got The Morning Show, The Gilded Age. I have to watch that. I mean, I honestly like
It's so good.
I
So
need
good.
to catch up on that one.
It's Downton Abbey in New York City.
Okay. And then I have Three Body Problem, which I mean, it's lower on our odds, but it got so much buzz. It was one of the most watched TV shows in the world. Even though felt like I was taking like an AP calculus class the first episode, and I had no idea what was going on. It just got so much buzz. Then I have The Curse, which is very bizarre. And
It is
Showtime
incredibly bizarre.
and Showtime hasn't done great in recent years, so I'm hoping people are watching. And then one of my favorite shows of the year, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It's so entertaining, so much fun. I love Maya Erskine. I love Donald Glover. So I'm hoping Mr. and Mrs. Smith gets. I hope they get in all over the place. And then I have Fallouts. I'm leaving Horses off. It's been on for 2 years. It's not really being pushed, and I don't see Slow Horse. I just don't see this sort of British show suddenly making an impact.
You prefer fast horses.
I prefer fast horses.
Um,
We're the Gold Derby. We're in a race. Like we're
yeah.
not long here.
I also wanted to point out that last year's 8 nominees in this category, only seven of them are gone, and only one, The Crown, is back for a nomination. So Bye Bye Succession, Andor, Better Call Saul, House of the Dragon, Last of Us, White Lotus, Yellow Jackets. Some of those shows are over. Some have just taken some are taking a hiatus. So
And
we are
thank
gonna
God
have
they're gone.
7
It was enough for it.
What?
And thank God they're gone. It was enough. I was so sick of talking about Succession.
Yeah, me too. But we're gonna have a huge influx of new shows and shows like you already mentioned, Morning Show, possibly Slow Horses, Gilded Age getting in for the first time after being snubbed. So it's gonna be exciting. But to wrap up that chat, I do have Shogun winning, and I think FX is gonna have a really good night because Shogun could win drama, The Bear could win comedy, Fargo could win limited. I don't remember the last time a network won all 3 big.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably been a long time. So drama actress, Daniel, how about you start us off? I have the odds in front of me. The overall Gold Derby odds has Jennifer Aniston winning, followed by Anna Sawai, Imelda Staunton, Emma Stone, Carrie Coon, and Reese Witherspoon.
I've got Anna Sawai winning. Staunton and Aniston, I've got in 2 and 3, but they were both snubbed for their last eligible seasons. So I don't know if there's enough love for them to go from snubbed to a win, which is why I'm going with Anna Sawai. Though I do think they're safe for a nomination this time. And then Reese Witherspoon got in last time for Morning Show, so I have her getting back in. Emma Stone is hot off of that Oscar win, so I think in an open category, she gets in for The Curse. The last slot I'm not as confident about. I've got Carrie Coon in The Gilded Age, so I'm going 6 for 6 with our odds. I'm tempted to put in Maya Erskine for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Carrie Preston for Elsbeth, Ella Purnell for Fallout. Maybe Fallout is maybe that's one of the ones that they're watching. So it's, or maybe they go back again, like I mentioned in our comedy chat, them going back to Kelsey Grammer for Frasier. Maybe they'll go back to Mariska Hargitay for Law and Order SVU. At this point, I would not be surprised.
Denton.
Yeah, I'm a little boring. I'm going exactly with the odds almost, other than I have Anna Sawai winning, not Jennifer Aniston. And I kind of agree with Daniel for the reasons that Imelda and Jennifer just weren't even in the race. So to go from not in the race to winning is tough. Emma Stone, she's so weird and quirky in this show. So I do think she will get in. Whether enough Emmy voters watch The Curse and again, Showtime just has struggled at the Emmys. So I don't know that she can win. And then I have Reese getting in. I would love Maya Erskine to get in. I just don't have her in there. I might swap her because I have Carrie Coon, who I'm not confident about. So I might just put in Maya just because I think she's so great. If they watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Maya Erskine will be nominated. But she created one of my favorite shows of all time, Pen 15, and couldn't get in for that. So if hopefully they are watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Maya can get in.
Ray.
I'm going mostly with the odds too. Jennifer Aniston, Anna Sawai, Imelda Staunton, Emma Stone, and Reese. But I am picking Maya Erskine to get in. I'm passing over Carrie Coon and going with Maya instead. I feel like she's so good and so strong and so entertaining and fun in that show, and so great and has such great chemistry with Donald Glover. I could I could switch out one of the others, maybe Emma. Even though she's Emma Stone, you're right. The Curse is such a bizarro show. I'm
And the
looking at
last time Emma Stone was in a bizarro show, like this great show, Maniac, completely blanked. So
right.
you never know.
So you never know. And I also love Elle Purnell in Fallout. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to get her in too, if possible.
Am I the only one that has Carrie Preston nominated?
I did, but I just literally the second just swapped her for Maya because Ray did. So I was like, well, then I can too because I love that show.
So yeah, I do have her in, and I mean, she carries that show. She's like a Murder, She Wrote, a Matlock type character. She's solving the murders, and she's very quirky, very almost could have gone comedy, but she went drama. And I mean, she's a winner for this same category in 2013. She won for playing Elsbeth on The Good Wife in the guest star category. So we saw this with Uzo, where Uzo won guest, then moved over to a supporting, but that was for the same show. So this is for a different show. Can anyone think of an example where someone switched shows but played the same character and won again?
Did Ed Asner do that with Mary Tyler Moore and Lou Grant? I can't remember if he won for both.
Possibly.
I think he did win for both.
Chris Beecham would know. But yeah, otherwise I have the same nominees as you guys. I have Anna winning for Shogun. Drama actor, we have Hiroyuki Sanada for Shogun. Sorry, that's what I have. Let me look at the odds. Oh, he's in second. He's in second.
All right, really tied for first.
Oh, you're right. It's tied. Gary Oldman and him are tied. And then Dominic West, Donald Glover, Cosmo Jarvis. I love that name. And Walton Goggins. So those are the 6 that Gold Derby has. I already said I have Hiroyuki at number 1, and then Gary Oldman at number 2. I could see Gary Oldman winning this and his show Slow Horses not even getting in. I mean, am I crazy?
Yes. You know what? I love Gary Oldman. I was singing this show's praises for season 1 and no one listened and they never got in. They never got in again. He's just not going to suddenly win Best Actor. Like, not with someone who, especially when you've got someone from Shogun, a show that everyone is expecting to do so well. And then I think Dominic West is in second place for The Crown. So I have Gary in third just because he's Gary Oldman. And the other people I have are from shows with other people I think they're gonna get beaten by. So I have Cosmo Jarvis from Shogun. I actually have Walton Goggins from Fallout, and then Donald Glover from Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Daniel, what about you?
I've got Hiroyuki Sanada winning for Shogun. Then Dominic West in second also. Then Donald Glover in third. I've got Gary Oldman in fourth. I feel like I'm getting like Jeff Bridges in The Old Man vibes from Slow Horses. Like, you know, his stature and reputation will get him in. But I don't see him winning. Then I've got Cosmo Jarvis. And for the last lot, I'm going out on kind of a limb, but he's been nominated before and for you know, multiple times for different roles. I'm going with Timothy Olyphant for Justified City Primeval.
Okay. Ray?
I'm going with Hiroyuki Sanada to win. I have Gary Oldman in second, Dominic West in third, and Donald Glover in fourth, and I like Walton Goggins for Fallout. I feel like Fallout could be a real dark horse in terms of scoring a zillion nominations and doing far better than people expect. And I kind of threw a dart at a board and just for my 6th one and came up with Tom Hiddleston for Loki.
Oh, I love that one.
He could get it. I have it in for series, so he could certainly get in for actor.
My only long shot in this category, I have Morgan Spector getting in for The Gilded Age, and he's way down in 10th place in our collective odds. So I could be way off the ball on that one, but I don't know.
Right above Morgan is Nathan Fielder, who I've had in. I recently just switched him out, and I might put him back in. If they are watching The Curse, I mean, that final episode where he's like on a ceiling and then like holding on for dear life, that episode whatever you think of the series, that episode, The Green Queen, and you can just watch it on its own. It's one of the greatest episodes of the television season. It's just pure insanity.
I think
And
it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen on television.
yeah, so
That
so
specific episode.
so if they're watching that, he very easily, Nathan Fielder could get in, and he is an Emmy nominee for, I can't remember, I think it's just writing. I can't remember if it's writing or directing, but so I would love to see Nathan Fielder get in.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Oh, I just wanted to point out Dominic West, whether you're a fan of him from The Wire or The Affair or now The Crown, he's never been nominated for any Emmy award. So
That's amazing.
it's time. Like, come on,
Oh,
voters.
The Affair is one
Wait.
of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah. Drama supporting actress. Now, this one, for me, in terms of winning, is one of the locks of the night. Elizabeth Debicki has already won the Golden Globe, the Critics' Choice, and the SAG Award.
And that was the year she wasn't supposed to win. This is the year she's definitely supposed to win, I think.
Well, she won all of those for this last season because
Oh,
it aired
okay,
in
that's right.
November.
Yeah, that's right. Never mind.
And so, I mean, I think she's a lock. Who do we have, trailing her in second through seventh place? My personal picks are Christine Baranski, Fumi Nakado, Leslie Manville, Cynthia Nixon, Audra McDonald, and then Mocha Hoshi. Who wants to go first on this one?
I have Elizabeth winning, and then I have Moeka Hoshi, followed by Leslie Manville, Christine Baranski, Greta Lee, The Morning Show, Cynthia Nixon, The Gilded Age, and then Nicole Bahari for The Morning Show. So I sort of skipped over a few to get to Nicole, but I don't know. I don't know how this one's
There's
gonna.
a lot of
All I
choice.
know is Elizabeth Debicki, and then everything after that is just like confetti.
Yeah, Elizabeth's pretty quite a lock. I have Leslie Manville, Christine Baranski, Greta Lee for The Morning Show, Moeka Hoshi, Cynthia Nixon, and Kristen Scott Thomas. I guess I'm more or less going straight down the line like the voters did. Pretty lucky though that they get seven slots here.
Yeah.
And they could go to 6 different people that I'm picking for all I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I am not at all confident in any of these except Elizabeth.
And Daniel?
I've got Elizabeth winning. Then I've got Moeka Hoshi in second place. Then Leslie Manville for The Crown, Christine Baranski for The Gilded Age, and then I've got 2 more Shogun actresses, Fumi Nakaido and Yuka Kuri. And then last spot, like I recently was like juggling who to put in, and I just decided Holland Taylor.
Yeah,
Sure.
you could be right. Remember when she was on The Practice, she was just a guest star. She was a judge that popped in and out, and she ended up winning the same category, drama supporting actress. So they absolutely love her. But yeah, this is the Elizabeth Debicki category. Should we move on to the next one? Okay,
Sure.
drama supporting actor. Gold Derby's odds collectively have Billy Crudup winning for The Morning Show, and I do as well. And following that, John Hamm for The Morning Show, Jonathan Pryce for The Crown, Tadanobu Asano for Shogun, Khalid Abdallah for The Crown, Nathan Lane for The Gilded Age, and then Takahiro Hira for Shogun. Does anyone not have Billy Crudup winning? Or we all do.
I've got Tadanobu winning just because, assuming that Shogun is as big as I think it is, I think it might be strong. I think it's a stronger show than The Morning Show this season. So even though Crudup has won before, I think, you can have a potential mini sweep or a major sweep.
Yeah, and Tadanobu was the standout supporting actor. Like if they only nominate one from Shogun, it's him.
Also, John Hamm is new to The Morning Show and cutting into Billy Crudup here. So
Okay.
he's John Hamm's gonna hurt Billy Crudup more than anyone else. So if it's close, John's gonna screw Billy over.
Uh-oh. Ray, what are your thoughts?
I have Billy Crudup winning, and John Hamm, a pretty close second. he's going to be doing, he's got a couple good, really great shots on Emmy night, doesn't he? He's also got Fargo. Um, I have Jonathan Pryce and then Tadanobu Asano. It's going to be interesting to see how well the Shogun actors do. I imagine I can see a lot of nominations. I could see it dominating the drama series nominations and not getting as many wins as we think. I feel like the voters are going to absolutely see, how great these people were and how they need to nominate them, and then maybe go with people that are more familiar for the wins. But I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I also have Khalid Abdalia, Nathan Lane, and Kei Kwan, just because he's Kei Kwan.
I thought I was the only one that had Kei Kwan for Loki. That was such a fun character.
Absolutely.
Watch, and the whole time travel thing and redoing things over and over, like having to do the same scene twice, but in a different way. It's a level of difficulty that I think deserves a nomination. Does anyone have anyone else nominated that we haven't mentioned yet here?
Yeah, I've got both. I've got mostly the same with Tadanobu, Billy Crudup, Jonathan Pryce, John Hamm, Nathan Lane. Then I've got both of the other Shogun actors, Takehiro Hira and Takuma Nishioka. So again, just assuming they see Shogun on a ballot, my hunch is check, check, check.
And if they love the curse, Benny Safdie's possibility here.
He's kind of my dark horse pick. But I'm not. But he's not light enough for me to pick him.
And then Mark Duplass for the morning show. I don't think we've mentioned him. Okay, so drama guest actress Claire Foy is in the lead at Gold Derby. She's already won one Emmy for lead and one Emmy for guest. So this would be her third overall Emmy award for playing Queen Elizabeth on The Crown. Second place at Gold Derby, Sarah Paulson, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then Yuko Miyamoto for Shogun, Michaela Cole for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Marcia Gay Harden for The Morning Show. Denton, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are it's very interesting that Mr. and Mrs. Smith is, because even below this, there's more Mr. and Mrs. like Parker Posey, Sharon Horgan is very close. It's like for a show that is not expecting to do very well, they sure look to be potentially dominating guest categories. And that makes me think, okay, like, are we going to be way off in this category, or is Mr. and Mrs. Smith stronger than we think? It's just, this category is fascinating. So just by default, I have Claire Foy winning. And then I have Yuko Miyamoto for Shogun in second, Marcia Gay Harden for The Morning Show in third. I'm going with shows that I feel like I know these people are watching. And I went with Parker Posey, so she's lower in the odds, but she was my favorite guest actor in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, so I bumped her up, and then I have Sarah Paulson. But I have no idea. I mean, this category is super
it's completely unpredictable.
There's also a lot of Elsbeth guest stars that could get in. I mean, if they really love Elsbeth, I have Jane Krakowski getting in, but she's way down in 11th place, so I could be completely wrong. Daniel?
I've got Claire Foy by default. Again, I could see her not getting in, but I have her there winning just because she has won before, twice before for this role, once as a guest. Then I've got Yuko Miyamoto, Sarah Paulson, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Marcia Gay Harden, Morning Show. I have no idea if they're watching this show, but I'm picking Glenn Close for the new look to round out the category. Glenn Close is, pretty darn beloved, and she's been, she won twice for Damages. She was also nominated for The Shield. We know they like her.
And Ray?
Yeah, I'm going with Claire Foy also. And again, we could all be wrong. Sarah Paulson, who I think voters really seem to like, Michaela Cole, Yuko Miyamoto, and I forget, what was it you, Marcus, that is going with Parker Posey, or you dead? I forget.
I am.
That's-
Yeah, I'm going with Parker as well. I think just because I loved her on the show,
Yeah.
and feel like she could break through here. That's my thought.
I think a lot of people are voting, maybe in that category for Mr. and Mrs. Smith that I don't know if they've watched based on like
Right.
what the odds are saying.
I've got 3 of my 5 from that show.
Because Parker is the guest of all guest stars on that. I mean, she's
Absolutely.
yeah.
And the fun thing about Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Elsbeth is that, you know, each episode, a guest star really gets to shine. Like, we'll talk about this for John Turturro in a second. Like, they're in it the whole time. And it reminds me of Poker Face, where each episode there was like a really spotlight guest star, and somebody won last year for Poker Face,
Yeah,
right?
Judith
Judith
Light
Light.
won, but
Judith Light.
Judith Light was surprisingly the only one they managed to get in.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I remember we were predicting a lot. Well, let's move over to drama guest actor John Turturro for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who I just mentioned. He's in second place. Nestor Carbonell for Shogun is actually in the lead, but it looks very close in our odds. And then we have Michael Emerson for Fallout in third, Kyle MacLachlan for Fallout in fourth, and Paul Dano for Mr. and Mrs. Smith in fifth. Ray, what do you think of this category?
I got I'm going with John Turturro. I think he's generally pretty popular with voters and is such a long-time respected actor. And then I have Nestor Carbonell in second. And then I'm going with a few, you know, much like our odds, a few of the Fallout actors, Kyle MacLachlan and Michael Emerson. And then Paul Dano for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Boy, I just realized there are an awful lot of Mr. and Mrs. Smiths in these categories.
It's bizarre.
That's
Yeah,
just
but
packed.
not all of them will make it in though.
No, but maybe 3 or 4 will. But Mr. and Mrs. Smith is the bear of these of the drama guest categories.
Okay, Denton, what about you?
Yeah, I have Nestor winning this because Shogun is clearly this show of this lineup. I mean, you have Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Fallout, and Slow Horses. I mean, those are the next in line. So if Emmy voters are going on the show they watch the most, I mean, Nestor Carbonell is going to have this in the bag. And then I have John Turturro for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Michael Emerson, because I want him and Nestor to have a wonderful Lost reunion. And I'm going with Corbin Burnson, who's a total weirdo maniac in The Curse. I would love for him to get in. That episode is so uncomfortable.
Oh no, I'm with, you know what? I hadn't even thought of Corbin, but you're right. He's so good.
Oh, so I have him in there for The Curse, and then I have Paul Dano as the very suspicious and wonky neighbor on Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Corbin Burnson is just creepy in general. He was creepy on LA Law.
He's such a great character actor.
Yeah.
I'm going straight down the line on the odds because I honestly don't know what else to do with this category. So I've got Nestor winning, John Turturro in second, Emerson and MacLachlan for Fallout, and Dano for Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
So we all have 2 Fallouts. Like, what if they're not watching Fallout? We're all gonna get only 3 out of 5.
We're all gonna fall out.
Ah! But I think Denton just mentioned the Lost reunion with Michael and Nestor. It did not even occur to me until right now.
And I only have 1 Fallout. But I
Oh.
have Michael in there.
Oh, you don't have Kyle?
No, because I have Corbin and Paul Dano. So,
Well, that does it for all of the all of the drama, actually. Does anyone have any final thoughts before we close out the slugfest? It's going to be a wide open categories, all of them. We're going to have brand new people getting nominated that have never been up before.
I have a feeling we're going to see something weird happen, like a show that wouldn't normally be on Emmy voters' radar, like if it were a normal competitive year, is going to get double-digit nominations just because it's so open.
I have no confidence in any of my picks except Elizabeth Debicki. The rest could all be different.
Well, thank you everybody for watching, and also be sure to watch our Slugfest on the comedy races and the limited series races as well. And if you have not updated your predictions in a while, some people still have Shogun over in limited. What are you doing? It's a drama now. Go update your predictions. The nominations will be announced on July 17th.